Alright, we're going to give you some additional help with how to find the centroid on the graph. Alright, now remember that we made you make the centroid using the medians. So a median goes from the vertex down to the midpoint of the opposite side. Alright, so in order to do that, you need to pick a side, doesn't matter which side it is. But the first step, so step one, is that you'll need to find the midpoint. Find the midpoint of one of the sides. Alright, now you can use the formula, that's x1 plus x2 over 2, and y1 plus y2 over 2. Alright, and I'm going to use, say, this side right here, AC. Alright, so that's going to get me then negative 2 plus 6 over 2, and negative 5 plus negative 3 over 2. Alright, so that's going to reduce down to 2, negative 4. Alright, so my midpoint is 2, negative 4, which is going to be right here. Alright, then what I'm going to need to do then is I'm going to take my point B along with this midpoint, and I'm going to draw a line straight down going through it. Okay, that would be my first median. Okay, then what we need to do in step 2 is going to be to find the slope of this new line of the median. Okay, remember that slope is the formula for slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so substituting point B and this midpoint here, which is 2, negative 4, our slope is going to be 3 minus negative 4 over 0 minus 2. Which comes out to 3 plus 4 over a negative 2. So that gives me 7 over 2. So that's a negative 7 halves. Right. Step 3 then is going to be find the equation in point slope form. Okay, I'm looking for the equation for this line here. So I'm going to substitute into this equation. For m, we got negative 7 halves. All right, for my h and k, I'm going to use the midpoint. So it's going to be x minus 2 minus 4. All right, then I'll need to distribute. All right, and then so that gives me an equation of y equals negative 7 halves x plus 3. Okay, so I'm going to use that equation, but that's only half of it. I got one median drawn so far, and I know the equation of that median. I have to repeat steps 1, 2, and 3 for another median. Alright, so as you're writing this down, I'm going to call this step 4, and I'm going to say repeat steps 1, 2, and 3 for another side. Okay, doesn't matter which side, we just need to find the median for one of these sides. I'm going to go ahead and use this side BC right here. So, see, first step was to find the midpoint. Alright, so that's going to give me 6 plus 0 over 2 and negative 3 plus 3 over 2. Okay, putting this in the calculator, simplifying it, that's going to give me a midpoint of 3, 0. Right. So for this side BC, the midpoint is right here at 3, 0. So if I draw that, that's my second median. Now this point right here is the centroid. Now sometimes we're able to luck out and we can figure out what that is because it's actually going to cross at some whole number x and some whole number y, but in this particular case it doesn't, so that means we're going to have to keep going. So we found the midpoint, now we have to find the slope. Okay, that is going to be, so if this is 3, 0, we're going to do negative 5 minus 0 over negative 2 minus 3. Okay, this comes out to negative 5 over a negative 5, which is going to be a positive 1. Okay, so we found the slope, or excuse me, we found the midpoint and we found the slope. Now I need to plug into the point slope form. Okay, so that's going to give me y equals 1 for my slope, x minus 3 plus 0. Distributing, simplifying, we get that this equation is going to be x minus 3 because we distribute the 1. That doesn't change anything. So here is my second equation. Alright, so that brings us down to the last step, which is going to be find the intersection of the 2 points, or the 2 equations. Alright, so remember from the first one we got y equals negative 7 halves x plus 3. And then this last equation we got y equals x minus 3. Alright, so first way to do this is to solve it using a system of linear equations. So what we would need to do then is we would need to multiply this bottom equation by a negative 1, which just changes my sign. So if this one was positive, it becomes negative. This one was positive, and now that one becomes positive. So y minus y, that's 0. Negative 7 halves x minus x. Remember, there's going to be a 1 there. So that is going to give me a negative 9 halves x. And 3 plus 3, that's going to give me 6. So now I'm going to solve by subtracting 6 from both sides. And I get negative 6 is equal to negative 9 halves x. Then I'm going to divide both sides by the negative 9 halves. And this is going to become negative 2 over 9 times a negative 6 over 1. I can factor from 3 here and a 3 here, which is going to leave me a 2. So I get that my x value is actually 4/3. But now we're not quite done because that's just the x value. I'm going to need to take this 4/3 and plug it into either one of these equations. I'm going to do the second one that we got, which was y equals x minus 3, because that's the easier one to do. Y is going to be equaling, substitute, that's going to give me 4/3 minus 3. Okay, putting that in the calculator, this is going to give me a negative 5/3. Okay, so this is my x value and this is my y value. So my centroid then is going to be 4/3 comma negative 5/3. Right. So if I go back to my graph, this point right here, the centroid, that's 4/3 negative 5/3.